Okay, so hello. My name is Jen. I'm actually a global fashion strategist. And thankfully, today I am here from New York City with two of my very close friends and colleagues. The first friend of mine I've actually known I think since the 90s, which is crazy. We've been working in the footwear industry together for such a long time. He is an incredible guy. He's currently the operating partner at Overton Capital. He's run companies like Tory Burch and Coach and many others, even Rockport. And I've known him forever, so I can't wait to welcome Javen Bunch to my group. Hi, Jaden.
Hi, great to see you.
Good to see you too. Fun to have dinner with you last night, finally, after COVID, right?
Great to get back to normal.
Oh, no kidding. And so my second guest, her name is Alina Kaczorowska. She runs Kaczorowska Footwear, which is one of my favorite footwear brands. Her and I met last year, actually during COVID. She currently resides in Kyiv, Ukraine, and her family have been making shoes in Ukraine since 1957. So please welcome Alina Kaczorowska.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning. I think
Hi.
I'm on this side if your camera's on. Oh, there you go. There you go. Now you're on.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. And thank you for
So,
such a great introduction.
well, of course, of course. I mean, we are currently, if anyone can see, I'm just going to do a little plug of what's behind me. But behind me are the Kaczorowska shoes. We're currently in New York City, promoting her brand for the first time at New York Fashion Week. So
Yeah.
it's really exciting, right? It's the first time your shoes are here in New York, right, Alina?
Yes, this is the first time because we were focused only on the local market. And so this is what our strategy, by the way, 2021, and it worked very well due to COVID. Yes, actually. But yes, thanks to Jen and to Ukrainian Fashion Alliance for the first time since 1957, we are represented in New York.
It's exciting. It's exciting. I know. So it's pretty cool to have both of you, of course. And today we're going to talk a bit about like fashion and digital strategies, right? I mean, as you both know, because you've been in the industry for quite some time, it really is easy to like brand yourself and show your customer your brand in store, right? Because people can walk in and you can really give them this like full on in store experience. But how is it that you really take a brand and really, show this to your customer on an online platform? So I'm going to let Javen kind of start and talk a little bit about what he's done at some of his previous companies to make his customers understand his brand online.
Sure. Jen, I've been thinking about this so much, and about how you and I basically grew up together, pre-digital, fully into the digital age. And when we first met, I was running Joan and David Footwear, and you were running shoes at the high-end Hall's specialty department store. And that was it. We had the store. We had that showcase to build customer loyalty, to build brand voice, to build franchise loyalty. And we had traditional advertising, which seems really easy now, even though it seemed so complicated at the time. All we had to do was one or two fashion shoots every season, publish it in fashion magazines, put it up in your store, reach out to your customer, and go from there. And then through the years, it's been interesting to watch, first of all of the doubters who said people would never buy anything online that was sized, much less shoes.
No
And
kidding.
we watched shoes become the biggest fashion category sold online, along with everything else, regardless of size. So through the years, it's been interesting as business moves online, thinking through how does a franchise like a Bergdorf Goodman or a Bloomingdale's, or even more so, how does a brand like these exciting young brands that you're representing and working with, how do established brands like Coach, Tory Burch, and Michael Kors, how do they maintain their identity and their emotion and their consumer connection, most importantly, in a digital setting? It's challenging because so many of these brands have spent decades building this identity and connection through in-store bricks and mortar experience. So after all of that investment and all of that time, now we're all reduced to this box the size of the screen that you're looking at with
Right?
with wireframes that you can vary a little bit, but only so much in the given space. And there's only so much content. And instead of having a consumer physically in a store where you at least have a few minutes to connect, you now have sometimes 15 seconds to connect with that consumer before they click through, click deeper, or worse yet, click away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the brands that I have worked with and the many colleagues that I've been fortunate enough to speak to through the years have spent a lot of time thinking about what are the aspects of the brand that mean the most to the consumer, and who is the core consumer and the tiered down consumer, and how do those two direct how you present online. So, for example, at Rockport, which was a huge comfort brand, basically dress shoes, it was more a function of how do we translate the comfort features, the actual technical features, and what
Right.
they do for you. It's an intellectual process. And at Tory Burch, the challenge was how do you convey a dream? How do you convey an aspiration in a very small box in a very short period of time? So Tory spent much more time focused on video and blogging and activity to bring the consumer into the world of her imagination, which included color and adventure and connectivity to a lot of different activities. Whereas at Rockport, we just focused on how much better you're going to feel at the end of the day,
Right. Yeah.
right?
And
So, yeah, go ahead.
no, no, you go. You go. Sorry. I was
No,
just going to ask Alina when she even launched her website. Because I know like Rockport and probably Tori and Coach have been around for quite some time, right? But
right.
Alina, when were you able to even do this for your customer?
Oh, actually, so we grew up from an atelier. So we launched the collection of, for example, in brand Kacharovska, not in atelier experience when it was uh, 2010, 2011. So 10 years ago, I guess, 10 years ago, we
Okay,
launched our website.
pretty
So
impressive.
I think, yeah. I think that we are pretty much in line with the other brands worldwide because it's easier. It's easier for us. By the way, I just wanted to say a compliment about Tory Burch online experience. This is one of my the best sites I've ever seen, actually. And what you are saying right now I understand. So why it's so. It's because this the world of your imagination. It's really it is after visiting the site. So yes, and I just wanted to say that for us, we were a small company. We were kind of a startup 10 years ago, I would say. Yeah, if to talk about online sales and so on. So for us, it was much easier than for kind of a big corporation or a big company to move on from brick and mortar and to start selling online. For us, it was like, oh, of course, we're gonna open. So because we started selling our collections already in two parts, so offline and online from the beginning. From the beginning, so we do not have like only brick and mortar, and then we said, okay, let's do online. We made
Okay.
it, yes, we made it just at the same time.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
most of the brands Javen's talking about, I'm sure, did not have that luxury, right? To be able to just launch them both together.
Right.
I guess yes.
Exactly. In a way, in the modern age, it can be an advantage, I think, to be a newer brand because you have been, newer brands think digitally from the very beginning. So they don't have a legacy, right, to translate through. And that can be such a challenge when so many people in a legacy organization think in 1995 terms, not in 2020 terms. But someone like Alina here, has thought digitally her entire life. So
Right.
achieving, authenticity is the most important and the most difficult thing to translate, I think, digitally. But when you have lived in that headset your whole life, I think the authenticity can come through quite easily with one or two people focusing on what the content is. Whereas at these larger companies, they often have 20 to 25 people full time on the digital content, trying many, many things to see what will finally break through. So it can be an advantage, I think, to be a younger brand with teams of people who have grown up digitally.
Yeah, no kidding. Alina, how many people do you have on your digital team?
Okay, we have a marketing division, and of course, it's fully focused on digital marketing, and it's more than 15 people.
Okay.
So
Okay, nice.
it's from yeah, it's kind of from starting from brand managers, PR manager, content manager, so photographers, videographers, so and so on and so on. So graphic designers, copywriters. So this is how the experience is created in digital.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I'm going to shift
Cool.
gears a bit and kind of talk to you about another, and I know both of your opinions, very tricky and challenging subject, which is pricing, right? Um, I mean, the customers and the consumers can now really see everything that's happening digitally. You can just, download a VPN and pretend like you're in Ukraine, right? So just to talk a little bit about how both of you have had to experience trying to make all the customers happy in all the world and possibly even create a global pricing structure if you've even been able to tackle that problem, right? Alina, do you wanna start this one and then I'll let Javen have the floor?
I think that Javen is much more professional in this question than we are because we like look we are just for the first time in the history in New York, like the collection is presented. So for us, it's a new challenge actually because we know how to manage in a local market, and of course we ship worldwide, but people buy. As a rule, it's Ukrainians who live abroad and they buy through our website. So of course we have an English version of the website, and so we have an converter that calculates from Ukrainian currency to USD to euro and so on. So, but the price actually was the same as in Ukraine. And if we plan to, I don't know, to open a warehouse, for example, in USA, of course there will be additional costs, and of course the price can be the same as in Ukraine because we, as a company, have extra costs. And I think that we just in the beginning, so I will be listening to David very attentively how they work with global pricing structure.
Yeah, I mean it's quite tricky and it almost seems that you're going to have multiple sites, I think, so that the customers don't get angry with you if like it's a different price in each country, you know, but it all depends on shipping and duties and all these different things that you can do. So Javen, how did you deal with that at some of these larger brands?
Sure. Look, global pricing is one of the most challenging issues any global brand faces. So I think while the goal of perfection is a great one, don't get hung up on that. Truly do the, a good starting point is let's do the best we can. And here's what I mean by that. If you can think through to what the ideal state might be, which would be the same price globally, right? Ideally, that would be everyone's goal. But that may not be achievable for a lot of reasons. Shipping reasons, tariff reasons, comp pricing reasons. So if you set that as a goal out there and then you back up and you simply take it market by market, talk about what you can do. If you can have a website in each market, that's a great start because it gives you a platform where the local consumer can relate to your brand within their country. Then deal with what your financial realities are. How much does it cost you to ship it there? How much does it cost you to advertise? What sort of premiums are necessary for you to make the margins you need to make? And that can be step one in the price you might consider. So you've thought about your product in a vacuum, given your limitations and the things you need to do, then broaden and look at how your product relates to like product in that market. For example, if you're Coach, who are your competitors in the US and how do you stack up pricing wise to them, percentage up and down? Then if you look at those competitors in Korea, what are your competitors priced in Korea? And you want to be relative to those competitors in a very similar ratio to how you're priced in the United States. That is at least an achievable way to logically present your brand to the consumer country to country. And one additional thing to consider is to make sure that you're monitoring other websites in that market to make sure that no one is competing against you with product that they may obtain through what we always call the gray market. For example, people that would come into the United States and attempt to order large quantities of certain product and take it back to any other country, set up a discount website, and because their costs may have been less expensive to transport back, they can undercut you with your own product in that market. So it's very important to be aware of who might be, for lack of a better word, illegally competing with you, who's competing with you on par, the same brands, and how do you stack up against them relatively, and can you make that work financially given your own constraints? I think that's a fair approach to an initial strategy, and then you tinker over time as any of the inputs change.
Yeah, because I know even when I was at Zappos, we did have flags on orders if people were ordering too many of one product, right? I mean, it is kind of shocking to realize that people do go and buy this product maybe here in the US and take it to another country, right?
Yes, absolutely. And in the US, large brands also have to be very careful what their large retail partners do with their product. And this may be less of an issue for these exciting young Ukrainian designers bringing their product into the United States. But as their business grows, you have to watch out, because if you have an enormous business with a large department store in the United States, what are they doing with their product at the end of the season when they clear it? You may pay for the margin, but you may not know where that product is going. That product could be going to a jobber that takes it to the nearest, least expensive country and undercuts you there. It's really about discipline through the entire supply chain to make sure that even through the clearance phases, there's integrity behind the pricing and the location of the product.
Wow, amazing, amazing. So it looks like we might have a question from the audience. So maybe we'll just take this real quick. Um, it says, "What do you think about the new platforms being trendy now in the fashion industry, like TikTok, for example?" Which is amazing. Thank you for whoever asked this, because this was our next topic. I was going to kind of start talking a little bit about social media. So I'm going to let one of you take this question. I think I'm probably going to let Alina take this question because I have a feeling that Javen and I are both not on TikTok. Okay.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, Jen, me neither. Me neither, by the way. I am on the
Okay.
32, yeah, but I'm quite I'm old enough for TikTok audience actually. So 32, it's old for TikTok.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. I
my
don't
six
know.
year
I don't
old
know about that, but I mean, I was at my dental hygienist the other day, and she was like 65, and she's telling me she's addicted to TikTok. Okay, so I do think that it knows no age range at this
Yeah.
point. But Alina, are you doing stuff with Kacharovska on TikTok?
with Kacharovska, no. So we have two brands in our company in Kacha Group.
Okay.
So one which is the famous brand from 1957 is Kacharovska. We do not launch it in TikTok because so we make a survey on the audience of TikTok in Ukraine. So basically, it's kids from 10 to 16. So this is the main audience in Ukraine, and our main
Who knew?
audience and our main audience in culture. So for example, my 6-year-old daughter, she is so she loves TikTok, and so but she's not ready to buy Kacharovska. So we decided not to push Kacharovska because in Kacharovska the audience is 28 40, so it's a little bit more adult. And but we have a more younger brand, Shoebread Melly, which we launched this year. And yes, we created a platform in TikTok for this brand because the audience that we are trying to target is 18-25, and so this audience is also in TikTok. So, but what about TikTok? It can bring you how to say it can represent you as a brand. So some audience can just know about your existence, but it doesn't give actually sales. So if
Okay.
you talk about performing as a brand on a stage just to know you, yes, it is, because TikTok it's a fun. And this is the main reason, the main difference, I think, between Instagram and TikTok. Instagram, it became a kind of a online shop with beautiful pictures, you know. So
Right.
sometimes you follow people, but I know many people who have Instagram accounts because they shop in Instagram because it's like more easy. It's easier for them, yeah, to shop via Instagram because nice pictures, you have some fun content, stories, and so on, and you have the swipe, yes, and you go directly to the shop, and so on and so on. So TikTok, it's a kind of for Z generation fun platform. You have fun here, so you're not talking in TikTok about sales, money, and so on.
Right.
So
Right.
for
But
me, this is the difference.
it is sounding like to me, I mean, like I said, I haven't downloaded yet, but it is sounding to me then like it could end up being a really good like free marketing vehicle, right? For your
Kind of.
brand.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
kind of. And so TikTok, it's more about entertainment. Yes, it should just entertain you. So you should create a content that will entertain your audience. It will make them smile, laugh, dance, and so on. This is the aim. In Instagram, it's more about like useful content. Yes, it's also about entertaining somehow, but I think that this is not the main goal in Instagram already. In Instagram, it's more like useful content. So you should take high quality pictures, high
Okay.
quality video, to showcase the product in the most useful for my client way. Yes, that he can see all the features and benefits and so on, because it's really for me, so 50 Instagram, I follow some people to see how they live, where they travel and
Right.
so on, and 50% is just a useful shopping application.
Right. Well, and I mean, just to make this all kind of go full circle, I mean, in my opinion now with TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, I do think it is kind of this new way, right, to go back to the beginning of what we were talking about, which is really kind of show your customer your brand and what you're really all about, right? You have a bit more
Yes,
of an opportunity on these social media platforms to kind of
yeah.
convey your brand experience, right?
And yes, and I would like to add one interesting point. Yeah, last year I was visiting Turkey, and so for example, so what gave Instagram? And by the way, I don't know about the experience in USA. I don't know. So right now, when you were talking about brick and mortar 30 years ago, yes, the clients came directly to you because they know you, because as we call it, we have such a term here in our team, that you were, for example, for me, you were Jane in my phone case, in my phone numbers, Jan shoes. And you were like, okay, I know Jan, this is my Jan shoes in this brick and mortar. So you know everything about, so you are my Jan in my phone, kind of. And what Instagram gave, actually, it gave this possibility to become this gem, but in your direct messages in Instagram application. And why I talked about Turkey. So we met with the CEO of the biggest shoe retailer on that time in Turkey. Unfortunately, they bankrupted. So they have 130 shops through all of Turkey. But they got bankruptcy, and but I talked before the bankruptcy, and I asked them about, like, okay, Instagram, how do you do that? And they told me that they do not reply in direct messages to the clients, and I was like, why? We have every day around 300 requests in direct messages from our clients, and
Wow.
yes, and so we have a full team who's responding all the time, and responding, selling, consulting, and so on. So because we became this gen, but in your direct messages in Instagram, because you can just write to us like, I want to buy this, and we should do everything just to send a link where you should pay, and we will do the rest of the stuff. And for example, in Turkey, they do not use this. Maybe something changed after this year, but I was very, very surprised that they do not use this incredible instrument for sales and for communicating with clients.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just a new place to sell your product. So, I mean, you should take advantage of any and all opportunity. I mean, I'm sure, Javen, you probably did a lot of business with some of the brands you worked with on Facebook and Instagram, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think Alina brings up a lot of important points about the variation of these different platforms. TikTok may not be a platform where your customer is today, but TikTok is one of the most powerful global platforms. And whoever is there today is going to be your customer in 4 years or 5 years. So if a brand manager doesn't know what's going on TikTok, they're not going to fully understand how their customer thinks and relates to social media by the time they become an actual viable customer for that brand, right? Social media is now like a fleet of stores with different demographics and different customers, and it gives you an opportunity to learn endless amount of data about consumer behavior in different ways and in different formats. So whether it applies directly to your brand or not, it really pays to learn as much as you can about these major platforms, because at some point, somebody on that platform is going to be your customer. And it also enables you to relate to them through something, again, that Lena brought up, is humor, right? Humor and various activities. Brands relate to consumer. If you can figure out what your consumer does in his or her free time or their professional life and tie that back to your product, right? It gives you an even more powerful way on social media to reach out and connect to that consumer. So more and more we're seeing on brand websites and on brand presentations on Instagram, all sorts of connectivity to activities that the brand is appropriate for and that the core customer of that brand enjoys doing. And it just brings the brand closer and more personal into the actual life of that person. So it's a lot, right? Every website, every social media website can deliver more data on a daily basis than anyone can read. So figuring out what data is relevant to you on each website and how your brand might either participate today or take those customers tomorrow is a really fun matrix and puzzle to figure out. But again, it's a challenge of 2021 that did not exist 10 or 15 years ago. But if you're going to compete, you care less about those bricks and mortar locations that just speak to one group of customers and much more about these huge platforms that reach people globally.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, since we're on the subject of social media, something happened to my poor Alina Kacharovska. I think like just 2 months ago, and I did think that the audience would find this very interesting. So she actually had somebody hack her company's Instagram. So Alina, can you tell us like how you even dealt with that? And like the person was asking you for money or something, right?
Yeah. So yes, around 2 months ago, our main Instagram account was hacked, and we received. How it happened? Our client support they received. So just be careful and be very attentive. Our client support they received a message in direct messages in Instagram, like, okay, I would like to buy this bag, and a link to go and to like this is I can't send you a photo, so here is a link where you can go and see. And the link was like Kacharovska. So kind of a little bit weird, but okay, Kacharovska.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, well, like Instagram dot, so kind of this. And it was accidentally. So the girl who was responding, it was her second day working in the client support, and she entered this link, and the link asked to put a password from the account, and she didn't understand that it can be like a hack tag, and so she just put a password, and in minutes all the accounts were like thrown away. Everybody was thrown away from the account because they I think that it's kind of organization, well organized people who work, because they change everything very very quickly. So they change all the passwords, emails, and so on. And so in 30 minutes we received a message like, okay, here is a link where you can pay so this amount of money, and then we will give you back the account. Of course, for us was a huge stress, and after we consulted with a few people who were in the same situations, we decided that we will not pay this amount of money, because we were hoping for like a Facebook that he can put us back our account in a few days. But what happened actually? So there is such a mechanism, I would say. How to explain? So what they did, they deleted our account. They deleted our account. So like in an hour, the account was actually deleted all over from the Instagram. And when the account is deleted, you don't see in the search the name of account. So yes, you put like Kacharuska, but there's nothing in Instagram, nothing, not another name, no, like nothing. It just and we couldn't understand what happened. Then we understand they just deleted the account, And then Instagram, they do not delete the account during 30 days. So if you would like to delete your own account, you can do it. But Facebook, Instagram, they send you a letter where they tell you you can like renovate the account, go to this link and you can renovate. But if you will not renovate, in 30 days, the account will be really deleted. So you're gonna have 30 days. So you have 30 days if something happens the same. Account it can be back. So what so and we wrote the hackers like, okay, we don't believe that our account still exists because we don't see it, so probably you deleted. And we saw that if they deleted, so it's like finita fine, it will not be back. And they, no, 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 and they opened an account for like 15 minutes to show us that the account is live. And in this short period of 10 minutes, we were like, like a rocket. We tried to renovate the password and it worked out. So if something happened, so if the account still works, you just put like I forgot the password. Yes, in Instagram you can choose it like I forgot the password, and then it will give you a possibility to send a new link to the email that was registered on this account, a kind of that, and that's how it worked. So we did it like forgot the password, help us, there are some
Right,
links
right.
before. Yes, and this is how like, and 5 minutes and we did everything, and we got back our account, so we changed the passwords and so on, and this is how the story ended. But in 2 weeks another account was hacked, and we do not know how that happened because there was no link. And I just wanted to say that we sent a letter to a Facebook. And if you have a business a Facebook account where you manage all the advertisement, so it's not a problem. So just don't be worried because Facebook will really give you back your account. So
Oh,
we connected.
nice.
Yes, yes. So this is very important. So business Facebook. And by the way, even if the account is hacked, you can see all the activity which is going on in your account through Facebook business account, because all our accounts are in the unique same business cabinet. Yes, because of advertisement. And so we just wrote from this side to Facebook. They reacted immediately, and like in 2, 3, or 4 days, the account was given us back.
Right. Well, I mean, I remember you like begging online for them to give your account back. So thankfully it worked out.
Yeah.
I do have another question from the audience. We're getting like tons of questions today. I'm going to throw this one at Javen, I think. Um, so seeing that we're all located in different countries, and have a completely different culture, do we think that the digital shift helped to push the brands to an international level? I mean, obviously, I would say yes for sure, but I'm going to let Javen elaborate.
Sure. Yeah. This is actually a quick one. Yeah. The answer is yes. Obviously, these platforms give access like we have never seen before: easy, quick, immediate, real time access to the brand. And I think an interesting thing too, it has challenged brands to be the same globally. And the one mistake I've seen with the global platform is when brands try to bend or change or customize it too much for different markets, right? A
Right.
brand is a brand. Chanel is Chanel, Tory Burch is Tory Burch. And it should be the same brand everywhere, and make use of this platform to relate to whichever customers relate to that brand globally. It's not to say that you can't add certain colors or certain trims or certain dimensions or
Right.
customized items for markets, but yes, the digital shift has enabled not only global understanding and access to the brand, but it's enabled brand movement and evolution to happen much more quickly because everything is in real time.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And Alina, do you have anything to add to this?
Um,
I mean, have you started thinking about like what you're gonna do when you start hitting the streets of New York? Obviously.
Let's see if this happens. Okay,
Oh,
I
it's
totally
gonna
agree.
happen, girl. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen.
I see that a lot of things really changed during last 2 years, and how to say, I think that these COVID years they broke up a little bit. Oh, I forgot this English word. Okay, I will. I'm sorry, just okay, let me Ukrainian. So I will
Your
remember
English
the
is
word.
getting good though. I love it. I'm gonna start making you speak English on your Instagram here very soon.
Yes, Jen, if you already knew Ukrainian this level, I would ask you, Jen, how to translate залежність to English?
Juliana, how do you translate what?
Залежність.
Uh-huh.
Залежність від маркетингу. Так, маркетингова залежність.
I have it.
Market dependence.
Market
Oh,
dependent.
yes. So, yes.
In the room with me right now.
Yes. So, what I see during two last COVID years is that they broke up a little bit the marketing dependence on global brands, and of course, it gave new opportunities for local brands as ours. For example, what it means that you were like you were more focused on local market and so on. So, and I think that it gave these two COVID years also gave more freedom on the fashion area to present another brand and new experiences. And I totally agree that you should, if you have a brand, you should not customize it too much for the different. There's no sense in it because what the brand gives is a unique experience. So we have our own experience in Ukraine, and if someone will be interested to try on this Ukrainian experience with all the details, this is fantastic. If no, okay, we should not try to be not who we are, you know. So this is the same for the brand.
Nice, nice. And then we have, I think it's going to be our last question here from the audience. And I'm going to let either one of you decide who wants to take this. But they're asking, talking about high fashion, how do you see brands adapting their catwalks, etc., in the digital area? I mean, I do think this is a very interesting one for sure. I mean, being somebody that's been in high fashion for quite some time, I am excited to be able to see these shows digitally, but I will tell you the experience of being front row at a fashion show in Paris and being squished into a seat with like millions of people and this kind of amazing, exciting feeling that you get when you are there. I think it's really going to be tricky to translate it digitally, but what do you guys think on this?
Wow, I have a big opinion on this.
Okay.
Look, I think, first of all, how amazing is it that we can all see these catwalks of virtually every designer worldwide?
Right.
But I think the real shift and the real impact is the realization of who the customer is for these catwalks. It used to be Jackie O, a couple of old New York socialites, and the department stores. That was the audience for the catwalks and, of course, the editors. And it featured clothing that would be available to all of us in 6 months' time. Now, the catwalk customer is actually you, and the customer is me, right? And I think what you're going to see is a shift to more wear now on the catwalk and more immediate availability on the catwalk of parts of the collection. We might even see two different catwalks where one is very high fashion and one is very imaginative from the highest end designers, and then a second catwalk of translations of some of those themes into more wearable clothing that are available now. Because I really don't think immediate customers that are eating up these catwalks want to wait 6 months, want to see fur coats that are available in 6 months, or suede or heavy things available in 6 months. They want to see what's right now. So I think catwalks are catwalks, and you're right, there's nothing like being there, but recognizing how your audience is shifting and how your brand relationship is shifting has to make the behavior of the immediacy and the content change.
Yeah, I mean, I must say, I certainly miss the catwalks. I'm definitely ready to get back to Paris and see them live. There's nothing quite like it. I mean, thankfully, I've been lucky enough to continue traveling still during COVID. Hence how I was lucky enough to meet Alina. We met, and I'm sure we're going to be friends and colleagues for a long time to come. So Alina, thank you so much for being here, and we'll catch up about what everyone in New York is thinking about your footwear. And then, of course, I mean, Javen, thank you again for doing this. I mean, our friendship obviously has spanned many decades, and I think we will be in each other's lives forever.
Absolutely.
I'm certainly lucky to have met you back in the day when I was a little junior buyer, right?
Likewise, Jen. And Alina, congratulations. Your product is amazing, and I'm so glad the world has a chance to see it. I know they're going to love it.
It's a great honor to meet with you today.
Yeah, hopefully, Alina, if you come to New York, or I am persuading Javen to come to Ukraine.
Yes.
I'm telling everyone about it. So I think I'll probably get Javen to be able to come to Ukraine first, and then we'll all have a dinner. So thanks so much for being here, and thanks everyone for watching. And if you have further questions, don't hesitate to write the company, and we'll get back to you on them. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.